There's Chris. Where's Jason? Afternoon, all. Sorry for the delay. We've had a few technical issues, as usual, the very last one. Where is he? Oh, God. Hello, Jason.
Hi, Felix.
I'm hoping Chris is going to come back on. Anyway, this is our last presentation of the day. We've had a few issues which we weren't expecting. So we're going to do the best we can. If there's anything missing, we'll try and get it to you later. But I'm very pleased. I did say that we'd had an international group, but we've got Jason. He can look out his window. He's actually joining us from the Cape in South Africa. I presume that's where you are still.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, we've had a pretty international group so far, so why not? Anyway, very pleased. Jason is the founder of Fuzzy Logic, good NEPIC member, and it continues the theme, but particularly around in terms of augmented reality, virtual reality, and what it can do for us. It's some food for thought. That's what it's all about at this conference, food for thought. So hopefully we'll do the best we can with what we've got. So I will disappear for a little while. I think Chris was going to come on when I go. To help Jason as best we can with some of the videos that we've had a bit of trouble with. But thank you very much. So I'll leave it to you, Jason. I might.
Okay. Great. Thanks very much for having me. It's awesome to present. Just as a quick recap, Chris is going to be presenting our slides for me. For some reason, when we share, the mic audio cuts out, so we share. So Chris is going to be making the slides for you. Chris or Felix, so you need to get out of the slides. Yeah, apologies everyone, I'm waiting for the slides to actually appear.
Hi, Jason. Are you struggling? Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just waiting for someone to actually present the slides for us.
Yeah, Chris was going to do that. I just need to find out where he is. Sorry about that. He was going to come on with you. I don't know where he's going.
Cool. In the interim, I'll explain a bit about Fuzzy Logic.
Yeah, sorry. I'll try and find out where he is.
No worries. So Fuzzy Logic, we're an augmented and virtual reality innovation company. Essentially, what we do is we work with corporate and enterprise clients to help identify pain points within their business, and we create AR and VR solutions that solve for those pain points. We don't have specific products, but we do have niches and industries that we're very strong in, and that's why we're here today to talk to you about asset management. Essentially, as a quick recap for those that aren't too sure, so virtual reality is this idea that you put a headset on, so you put these headset glasses on, you can't see out, but you have a screen in front of you. And when you have that on, you're able to be transported to a digital world. So in essence, I could be on Mars, or I could be in Paris, or on top of a crane. And I essentially get transported to a digital world. And so I can be trained, or I can experience things that I would never be able to experience in my real day, every day. Augmented reality is slightly different in that augmented reality brings digital content to our world. So instead of putting a headset on, I hold up my camera, my phone or my tablet, and when I look through it, digital content appears. And this digital content is essentially anything. It could be audio, it could be text, it could be video, and it could be games, it could be animations. And we use this to enhance the world around us, and we use it to we can actually see the screens now, thanks very much. So we use this to enhance the world around us and to basically bring digital information to the world and really give ourselves superpowers, we like to say internally. It's not really superpowers, it's just taking all this data that we have inside of computers and placing it in an environment that makes it more interactive, and it gives you contextually relevant information when you need it. We at Fuzzy Logic, and I think anyone that's big into augmented reality, believe that this is the next evolution of computing. It's over the past 30, 40 years, computers have gone from these massive mainframes down to smaller and smaller devices. all the way down to most people now use their phone for almost everything. And the next evolution for us is for that phone to disappear and get out the way, and you'll be wearing glasses. And when you look through these glasses, you'll see all of this digital content appear. We can actually move on to the next slide then. Yes, and so how does this help you guys? How does it help your businesses? So for us, we see AR as the bridge between the physical assets in the field and your asset management systems. So we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're not trying to say, hey, this magic technology is going to solve all your problems. What we are saying is, you guys have tons of data. You have tons of really, really key processes and workflows. Why don't we take that and bring it into the real world and supercharge what you're doing? And the idea really should be that we can improve the operator efficiency. We can, minimize downtime. So by improve operator efficiency, instead of the operator getting to the machine, being unsure what's inside because he can't see all of the data, he has to open up his computer, he has to go find it, he might not have it with him. He instead could look through the tablet, and as he sees the machine, all of this data could instantly appear. It would be used to minimize downtime in that we have the ability to reduce the time it takes to maintain and service machines, and then it enhances safety and compliance. All of our experiences, whether it be AR or VR, we aim to kind of satisfy the ISO demands that are required of our clients, and we make sure that the staff can kind of take care of their tasks and they perform their role more safely than ever. And ultimately, though, we're looking to drive cost savings. We're looking to make improvements in how people function at work. And we're looking essentially to supercharge what they're doing, as I said. We can hit the next slide, please. So there's three key stats that we've got. The first one, Boeing themselves have seen a 35% reduction in training time due to spatial technologies. General Electric have seen a massive increase in productivity, up 34% in their case study. And then the biggest one is 92% reduction in human error for projection works. That is massive, if you ask me, because we're not just saying the solution is going to solve all your problems, but what it's doing there is it's actually just giving people the right information at the right time that exists in your business, but we're doing it in a quicker way and we're leaving less room for error. And that's why there's such a massive reduction. And we see this across the board in all of the products that we work on. We can hit the next slide. So for you, there's three areas of integration. There's preventative maintenance. So that's assembly instructions, checklists in AR, making sure that people can get the information to do preventative maintenance so that nothing occurs randomly. There's corrective maintenance. So that's quickly being able to correct something and improve the situation. And what we do there is we provide remote support to on-site technicians. So what that means is, a more junior technician is perhaps working on one of your assets, something goes wrong, and instead of them going to have to find experts or go find someone that can help, our tools allow them to instantly dial those people up. That expert can instantly see what the technician is seeing. We share that view. And more importantly, that expert, through his tablet, is able to then draw onto the view. So if you imagine that I'm looking at something and you're on your tablet, if you draw a circle around a screw or an area of the machine, I will see that appear in my 3D view, and I'll be able to more quickly take charge of that item and fix it, rather than there being a little bit of a broken telephone. We try and break down those barriers of communication, make it visual, and solve corrective maintenance very quickly. And then most importantly, or as importantly, there's predictive maintenance. So many of these assets have live asset tracking, big backends that track all of the performance and understand how things are working and when things might go wrong. And all we're doing is tying into that data through APIs. And visually, we're now going to communicate that to help the technicians or the staff more effectively understand what to do early on. And we have massive belief in, if you train people visually or if you guide people visually, they're going to understand and they're going to take action more effectively, because as a human being, as a species, we're more visual. And so that works massively. It's important. You can go to the next slide. Cool. So I'm going to show some examples just of preventative maintenance as the first one. You've seen someone wear the HoloLens device, which is a Microsoft-built augmented reality headset. You can see through, and what you're seeing here is someone assembling a complex item using their digital instructions and checklists. So step by step, they basically see almost like a Lego instruction book visually in front of you. The person's really just able to follow each step by step and complete each task. Now, you're going to see massive improvements in the speed at which something's done, and you're going to see massive improvements in the understanding and the lack of errors that occur, because you're not looking away, you're not looking down and finding the book and turning the page and forgetting where you are. You're out of the corner of your eye, you're just seeing this thing occur in front of you, and so you can be more effective in how you assemble or maintain machinery. As important is these augmented reality lenses, specifically from Microsoft. They are safety rated, and so they do come with hard hats, and they come with all the safety compliance requirements that we might need. And so the staff are not in any further danger by using these. If anything, they're just getting this supercharged in terms of their processes. All of the information is also saved digitally. So as someone takes care of their tasks, we're automatically, or whoever creates this product is automatically tracking all of that. And so we're saving that to the cloud database, so we can run analytics on how well people are performing, where they're struggling, and so we can identify proactive improvements to the process. And then we have a final follow-up loop where if someone does get stuck and they do have to use that expert guidance, we then build that back into the system so that will never occur again. We can push to the next page, please. So now we're on to corrective maintenance. So this is enabling on-site service technicians. And so this is the collaboration with remote assistants. Essentially what you're seeing is someone is looking and performing a task, and another person is looking through their computer screen. And so it's just sharing the live stream. But what you're now seeing is that interaction between the two, pointing out exactly where to look. And this is a very simple example where they're just pushing an arrow. But imagine now that there is actually a 3D item, and you've got pipes and you've got lots of things happening. I could literally draw around that 3D object, as you can see here. And so now there's less room for error, because now we're communicating visually and things are going to happen more effectively. So essentially what you're giving is remote over-the-shoulder support. But why is that important? It's because you don't now have to call an expert out to site. You don't have to waste time on them getting there or them having downtime. They're sitting at their desk and they're providing remote assistance immediately. And when they're done, they're instantly done and they can carry on with their jobs. This is massively important in huge factories or in mines or massive engineering companies where getting to another location is time consuming and difficult. At the same time, these experts are able to pull up digital guides and manuals and to push them to the user, so the user can instantly be giving more information in their view. And all of this is also captured. And so if you want to enhance your training in the future, or if you just need a database or a record of what has occurred, all of these videos are saved automatically and can be transferred into your live environment or live data ops environment to be used later on. If we could press next, please. The final step is then predictive maintenance. And so this is being able to view your asset in real time, getting real data. So all of this data exists somewhere. And so what you're seeing here is machine parts giving visual clues as to what's happening, right? So you're understanding the pressure, you're understanding where it's blocked, you're understanding the heat perhaps. To add to that, you're actually seeing now an exploded view of the part. And so the first step is really just in layering that data out onto the machine. And when we identify a blockage or a stop or an issue, you're then, if that item has a 3D enabled part because we have training on it, you're then able to explode that view out. That view can then show the assembled or disassembled state, and it can also show you the steps to reproduce an issue, the steps to correct an issue. So visually, the person can now follow through on the instruction without worrying about checking a manual or understanding how to fix it in the first place. All of this occurs because we're just tagging the live performance data onto an asset. So we just need that ability to first see the asset. We then take all of the data that exists, we tag it onto the asset, and then we try and figure out what is that ideal workflow for the user taking part, because we always like to build products with the user in mind rather than management decisions in mind. And then one of the key, very often underlooked areas here is the ability then to log faults immediately. So we're reducing paperwork, we're reducing complexity, we're reducing any errors that might pop up by people forgetting or doing things later. Instantly, because this is recorded, or instantly because you can press a tag, this is uploaded to the system, and you can add a note or you can add a voice note onto that. And so the record is automatically logged, which can then get other actions further triggered based upon your system requirements. One of the big important questions I always get asked is, does this work offline? It does. So anytime you design one of these systems, it's a fundamental thing to decide on. The majority of times you can actually have an app that runs offline And if it doesn't have a connection, it just won't update to the very latest version. That might not be critical. But when it then comes online, it should be able to elegantly auto-resolve. And so all it's going to do is going to check, am I online? And it's going to then process all of the tasks that it had to complete. And so people in remote spaces or people underground where there might not be connection, that shouldn't be a concern. Could you hit the next slide for me, please? So one of the important things that we also see, and we think it's important for the world going forward, is the ability to reduce your carbon footprint and your impact on the world. So digital processes help us to drive that. We minimizing travel because you have remote assistance, and I think everyone during COVID days is seeing how important that is. We're removing the need for paper with digital demonstrations. I love this the most because I write notes and then I sometimes forget where they are. Whereas now if I write it on my iPad, it's automatically saved and I never ever lose access. And it's the same as field technicians, right? It's simplifying their everyday. You're removing that need to kind of have paper trails, and it's going to reduce waste. And then, that waste and that savings on those paper can then be used to be creating more virtual product prototypes. I think that's important as well. We can actually, you can say you're spending money on all these, but we're saving in so many places, and we're saving on time for people to be trained as well. Could you hit the next slide for me? So we're going to show a few case studies. If we can go to the next one, please. These are internal products we've worked on. This one is for Anglo American. They're a massive mining company. They have a challenge in that this digger is 5 stories high. It's insanely big. And how do you train technicians to be able to maintain and service this when the engine is about 2 floors of a building? How do you explain to them where parts are? It's complex. So if you hit the next slide, there is a video. So what we've done is we've created what is called a digital twin. So what you're going to see is the staff receive training in their classroom environment or in their office environment. They open up normal iPads or tablet phone or phones, and all it's going to do is recognize the surface of the table, and it's going to then place the machine. But it's going to do it at a scale that you can then look around and see. You can make it real size if you want, but you can scale it down. And once you place it on the table, it's there. That's the whole joy of AR. It now exists in the world. You can move around. And what's important, you're seeing here is almost an X-ray vision. And so we use this as a training tool. And so this person's exploring the engine system, and as he's stepping through each lesson, what you're not hearing is a visual guide explaining all of the components, talking them through what's important, explaining where the locations are. And we give them a very high-level overview, but we're also showing the internals. And as part of the experience, we then have a quiz/test system where very regularly we ask a load of questions, and we just prompt people so that we can understand if they're taking all of this in. And in the back end, we track that. And so where people seem to be falling down or not understanding this quickly, we go back to that lesson and we reinforce it more often. And where people are performing well, we're actually able to skip on. So we're saving time in that area. But the massive benefit here is we're decreasing costs because those machines are so costly to take out of commission. We're saving their money on it because they've got reduced maintenance periods. And we're improving the efficiency and the processes because now the artisans can be trained more regularly in any environment. More regularly is key because they're doing it often. They're not just being trained once every 6 months and then forgetting. They can do it weekly. And all of the content changes weekly, so we're making it fun. And then we're just improving the efficiency of the training department. I think that's key. And then key to this, though, is then taking that digital twin and transferring it into the real world. So when they get to the site, they're getting now digital instructions as they walk around the machine. Now, they can't hold iPads up, but they get a set of glasses, and they're able to then look at the different areas of the machine and call up digital instructions which show them how to maintain it. Could you push next slide, please? This is for a massive train company, and you can actually start the next slide. So they have a challenge where this machine part is about 4 meters high, and how do you train someone on a machine that's 4 meters high, and when it's disassembled, it lays out in about 20 meters. So what we've done is created an AR solution where if you look at the floor, you can place the part, and once it's placed, it's there again, and you can now expand it and you can pull it apart. Importantly, again, you can walk around it, you can look up close onto any area, and you can really get a sense of where everything fits together. It's photorealistic, so this is exactly what it would look like as in a real part. As important, when you touch on things, it's going to show you the information. Now, it's going to tie into that back-end system, so it can tell us how many parts are in the stockhouse, how do you maintain this, and how do you service this. And so very quickly, we're letting people be trained on this, that we're letting them trained regularly. And so we're improving the productivity of the trainees because now they can confidently complete the maintenance process. We're decreasing costs because we're running multiple training sessions at the same time without the need of taking this machine out of commission. We're also reducing the costs in the space required. And we're improving knowledge retention. That's one of the big things with AR. People learn visually, as I've said before. When you show them things visually, they're able to understand and appreciate it a lot more. And if we reinforce that visual learning regularly, they retain that knowledge in a far more effective way. It's not to say that videos or text will be replaced. It's about finding those areas that AR can really be used, or VR can really be used to supercharge those training items or that asset management or that maintenance. Just step to the next one, please. Cool. Just a bit of us, because we said we're based in South Africa. We're actually also based in the UK. We've got Andrew, who's over there working for us, and he runs Fuzzy Logic UK alongside Harvey. If ever you need anyone to chat to, you're welcome to get in touch with them. They can come see you. We can do it digitally or on video chat. As a company, we've been developing AR and VR solutions for over 9 years now. Our team is incredibly diverse. We have designers, artists, programmers, and we have an educational specialist. We like to approach challenges as a design challenge. And what that means is we try and figure out what is the job to be done. How do we solve that actual pain point? And how do we work backwards from there? And how do we do that in a proof of concept manner where we're not trying to spend the farm to make the best system in the world? We're trying to very methodically prove all of our hypothesis and build on that to make an effective system that works for our clients. Some success we've had in the past 2 years, we've been nominated for 9 awards in the Augmented Reality Awards in America, the top awards. And so even though we're based in South Africa, we're an international team with international pedigree. It just so happens that our tech team are out here, and we compete internationally because we have a little bit lower costs, but we don't have inferior quality. We have the top-notch quality. Could you please skip to the next slide? As a final kind of slide, it's more, where can you use VR and AR to impact your business? I think obviously it's in asset management. I think that's where everyone's looking. There's other areas that we've looked at. We've used it as a sales enablement tool. So what that means is how do we drive sales with AR? We've got automotive solutions and furniture solutions. There's also marketing. How do you present your product to clients digitally? How do you show one of these big machines without taking it somewhere? AR is an excellent solution for that. And then the 3 that excite me a lot is communications, training, and maintenance. So with communications, we get digital avatars to appear. So instead of having a teacher inside of a class or a service assistant, you could have this digital avatar pop up on the table. They speak to you. They can be translated into any languages. It can use voice. And they essentially act as a very fancy chatbot, as you will, that ties into your FAQs, that helps communicate information to you visually and effectively and quickly because you don't have to dig through a manual. And then the last 2 I've touched on a lot is, for training and maintenance. How do we train you in the back end, make you as effective as possible? But that, as important, how do we take that digital twin into the real world, giving instructions and live data onto that real machine, which really supercharges your maintenance and helps your team just be more effective and quicker at their job. We've worked with a number of massive companies around the world, and we would love to work with any of you one day. People often think that, we're just going to work with you as a per project basis, but I'd like to state that we're here for advice. If ever you feel that you just have a question, not even a job, please get in touch, ask us questions. We're here to help. A lot of people have helped us over the years, and we'd like to pay that back in some way. Guidance is what we love doing, so please get in touch. And that's and then we go into the final slide. I'm happy to take any questions if there are.
Well, we're going to do them just afterwards because we're going to have a Q&A, Jason. We're going to do a Q&A next with everybody.
Cool.
Just so thank you for mentioning that, and thank you for an excellent presentation. We got there in the end. As I say, if we all go into the session on Q&A, all the speakers, please go into that thing. We'll get that organized in the next couple of minutes. But thank you very much, Jason. Very refreshing. We deal with a lot of companies. I have certainly over the years. And one of the messages I always say is stop sort of trying to bamboozle people with jargon and stuff like that. And the message from Jason is clear: is we want to know what you're doing so we can help you. And I think that's a key message. I'd also like to make a bit of a point of one of the exhibitors that we've got is really the people from the SAM project from the University of Sunderland. They've got a lot of really good stuff, a lot of similar stuff to what Jason has been talking about, and they're a centre of excellence here in the northeast of England. I didn't have to say the point about that. Fuzzy Logic are based here in the northeast as well, because Jason's done that for me. But anyway, thank you very much, and we'll all go to the final session, please, and hopefully we get that organised with as many speakers who are still available. I think quite a few are still around, so that's good, and we'll get moving. And if you have any questions, please put them and I can pick them up from the Q&A. Thank you.